Apologies. We just totally dropped. I have no idea why. Okay, we are once again live. Devin, if you could put out some social media buzz that they need to re-click the link or refresh their feed, please. Sorry, Dustin, wherever you want to pick up from.
Thank you. Tonight?
Yeah, I can host.
Where do you live?
1498th Avenue.
Downtown.
Downtown.
Are you sure you don't want to see any more pics of me? Most guys want to see me before they meet up.
What I saw in the profile is enough.
Well, I'll be over.
How long?
Probably about an hour, depending on the buses, that is.
See you then.
Occasionally, it works out for me. But only for a moment. This isn't forever, it's just one night. One night in a lifetime of many. A temporary high. So I intend to make every moment last. You know, savor it till it ends, because it will. No one wants to spend any more time with me than the amount of time it takes to suck a few lifelines off my ears. To get what they want and leave me in the dirt. So, like a breath mint, embrace the flavor and hope that it sticks. But in the end, the foul smell of bacteria-producing odor in your mouth will remain. But what other flavor will do the trick? I mean, bubblegum doesn't get rid of the stench. So I suck on breath mints, until all that's left is my own saliva.
Hey. Sky?
Yes, that's correct. Yours? Heath. Weird. I like it.
And your name isn't?
Well, I'd say it's slightly more normal than yours, but I mean, that's all subjective, isn't it? Oh, look, trees!
Yes. That's my garden. I like to keep one for myself.
Oh, well then I won't intrude upon it. Your kitchen's nice. Your whole house is nice, really.
You sound surprised.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, a house this size downtown, I just assumed there'd be something wrong with it. But there isn't. It's fine.
Just fine?
Yeah, just fine. Nothing too extravagant or fancy about it. It's a nice spot, though, for a house. I wish I lived around here.
It is. You could, if you wanted.
My bank account begs to differ. So, don't have sex at all?
Yes.
So, that's over with.
Yes, it is.
Well, it's almost 11. I guess I should get going. Are those apple trees?
Yes. Do you like apples?
Well, I think most people like apples. I mean, I'm not opposed to them, but I mean, they're not my favorite.
One of my trees is giving apples now. Ambrosias. The others will be soon to follow.
Sorry, if I'm being honest, I don't really know what that means. Is that good?
Ambrosia. Sweet and smooth. Crisp with thin flesh. Welcoming you to take another bite. With a slight edge of acidity, each bite with more juice escapes the confines of its cream-colored insides. Fits within the palm with perfect size, asking to be plucked and to be held. A hybrid of species, red and gold delicious. perfect in every way. The flesh is spongy in the right way, retains the knowledge of what the trees hold, which humanity cannot understand. Not self-pollinating, it begs to grow in groups. Its cyanide lies at its core. My favorite type of apple.
Holy shit. You make those apples sound like the food of the gods.
But the apples are not the best this year. Rather sour for an ambrosia. I wouldn't try them if I were you.
Well, I like the taste of sour. In fact, I prefer sour candy over the others. Sometimes I'll even stick my finger into the bag and get all that sour stuff and lick it off my finger.
No. Too sour, far too sour, too bitter for an ambrosia.
Heath, I think you're underestimating my capacity for sourness.
The apple is too sour. In fact, it's bitter. Give me the apple, hand me the apple, Sky.
I want to taste it. Let me taste it. Heath!
Put the apple down.
No, I will not put it down. It's a piece of fruit.
Please, Sky, don't eat the apple, okay? I'm a perfectionist.
A perfectionist.
And the apples are not good. Not this year at all. I don't want you to eat one because I know what your opinion will be, and I care about your opinion.
Fine. We'll meet the apple.
Thank you. Sorry. I'm sorry, Sky.
Okay.
Okay?
Look, the bus is gonna be here soon. I need to go home.
Okay. Will I see you again?
I don't know, Heath. We'll see which way the wind blows.
I hope I'll see you again. Please.
He actually wants to see me again. He's a perfectionist, but he's possessive and controlling and a touch manipulative. But maybe I like that? Maybe I like him. Maybe I do like that. I know that I shouldn't like him. Raven wouldn't want me to like him. He's cold and he's unattainable. But maybe I like that. Maybe I want to be wanted by him, and he does want me. I can see it in his eyes, and his text after I left, and that soft please once I walked away, his rough exterior becoming soft to the touch. He wants to see me again. Maybe I do want him. Maybe I do.
I'd say journalists and aliens are pretty similar. I had this roommate, and she was also a journalist. Extremely devoted to the craft, but could never really write anything magnificent. And was not human. Not in the emotional sense of the word. She seemed to think she was, though, but I could see it in her eyes. She didn't really connect with people the way that she thought she did. We were just a game in her eyes to watch in our worst moments. Can you be an alien and unaware of it? Can you be both human and alien, or is it just one or the other? Anyway, later that month I moved out, and then I moved into Sky. It's really expensive, and it's kind of a shithole, but it has a certain charm to it. I mean, the area's nice. Well, it's not as nice as the other areas in the city. And we have to commute to the areas where we spend the most time, meaning downtown. And our landlord is kind of an asshole, but he's doing his best. I guess there's only really one plus to this apartment, which is that life is happening right outside these walls. If I walk out the front door to my apartment, people, life, it's right there. I work for this really small magazine in my city, writing stories focused on art and music and social justice. The latter being what I'm working on right now. I'm on this project focused on reporting stories of issues with the police, brutality, ignoring cases, lack of protection for those who need it most, ill-handled cases, just general discrimination at their hands, murders. It's a long list. I interview people daily asking too many details of their losses and too many details of their own awful experiences. Sometimes they break down and cry, and I think to myself, I'm such an asshole. Bringing back these traumatic memories for some random article in a tiny magazine that almost nobody actually reads. Some days I wonder if I'm becoming more and more like my old roommate. If this research I'm doing is unethical, sometimes I think journalism itself is unethical. Maybe my old roommate and I are the same. Aliens watching humans in their worst moments.
Hey!
I need coffee. Where were you again last night?
The same place as last. And the night before that. And the one that I came home from late the night before.
Well, that's a lot of nights. Is he that good?
Yeah, he is. He lives downtown in a house that's like kind of big, but yeah, I've been seeing him.
Are you gonna take a break for tonight? I have the night off. We should watch a movie or something.
I would love that. Anyway, so I've been seeing him for about a week now, and I've seen him 6 of these days, but we talk every day, like quite a bit too. And he has like this really nice way of talking. It's so easy, and I can feel that he's listening, like to every word that I'm saying. And I think I like him, like a lot.
That's fun. How much do you know about this man?
Quite a bit. So he's an orchardist by profession, and he has this huge, beautiful garden in his backyard, which he cares greatly for. And he works on this orchard about 45 minutes from here with a friend of his. He works there for 5 days of the week, labors for like hours, from sunrise to supper. And then I go to his place, and we talk for hours, and sometimes we have sex, but we mostly just talk. Sometimes about nothing, and other times about everything. He's caring, but also a touch cold. Like, as if I can't fully reach him, at least not yet. And he has this way of speaking, it's a little bit closed off and short-sighted almost. Kind of like every word is carefully selected, you know?
Well, he's quite the man. Stable job, seems like he pays well.
Did I say that he has a house downtown? He's a bit quiet, and he's really kind of hot in like a rough, brooding sort of way. Oh, and he's a Virgo.
How old is this man?
He's not that old. I mean, he's just 50.
50.
That's not that old, right?
Sky, he's twice your age.
Raven, that's not fair. I do like him, and I think he likes me, and I don't know what to do with that. No one's ever really liked me before, but I think he could. I think he does.
Sky, he's 25 years older than you, and you're making this seem like some sort of middle school crush situation.
Age is just a number.
And you only mention monetary values as his best assets. And astrology. I know you don't actually believe in that shit.
Okay, but if the signs align, it must mean something.
I'm not going to tell you no, nor can I tell you what to do, but I would proceed with caution.
Raven!
Sky, you can't be serious right now. I mean, by all means, do whatever the fuck you want, but he's 50 goddamn years old. He was born in the middle of the Vietnam War. For fuck's sakes, do you even remember the Vietnam War?
Okay, that's not fair.
Well, he sure does. In fact, it's probably some of his earliest memories. And you weren't even thought of at that point, Sky. You didn't exist.
I can't lose this, Raven, okay? I won't. Vietnam memories are not... He actually likes me. And he actually wants to spend time with me, and that is more than I can say for many other men out there.
Sky, he's 50 years old. He only wants to live out some weird fetish with you.
That is not what he wants.
Then what does this orchardist want?
I don't know. Maybe he loves me, and that's something that you can't explain. That just happens.
He doesn't love you. He loves your image and what youth you provide for him. He doesn't want you, he wants an idea of you.
You know what? I got it. Just let it go.
Any thoughts on the movie tonight?
Not really.
You should probably watch some classics, maybe some 80s teen movies.
I'm not getting into this again.
Listen, I was thinking if this is working out so well for you, maybe I should head down to a store where I can find a lovely Karen. We watched a movie later that night. Rocky Horror, a classic. Sometimes I feel like his mother. I need to tell him to place boundaries, and he tells me to take some of mine down. To actually enjoy my time and not view it as some possible gain slipping out of my fingers. I guess it's a bit hypocritical, seeing as we both need to change some things about ourselves, but together we bring out the best in one another. I except for the fact that we're both really stubborn. That's rough. As soon as we make up our minds, there's no changing them, and that can lead to mistakes, which cause us not to trust our own minds. He was on his phone all night with that guy, Heath. Maybe he does just want Sky in his innocent way. There's no way to tell.
Sky, I would like to see you again. Tomorrow night, if possible. Maybe for dinner, if you're available. You can meet at my place. I could prepare a supper for just the two of us beforehand. Whatever your favorite meal is. I want to get to know you a lot. More than what we have been doing, although that is nice too. I want to know everything about you.
Does 6 sound good?
My neck tingles at night sometimes. My mouth burns when I eat the apples from my garden. Spirits are just beyond me, around me, with me at all times. Trees can hold spirits too, at least I believe they do. I yearn for you, Sky. I like you a lot. Men like you drive me crazy. They always have. And all the others before you, they didn't want to have a place in my garden. But you do. I want to be your world. I want to be your everything. I want you to yearn for food until I place some cow shit at your roots. I want you to gasp for water until I pour it from my watering can. I want you to be my plant, my tree, Sky, my apple tree.
I accepted the offer when we went to his house. He made me a platter of fancy cheese and crackers, brie and roasted veggies, and he served it all with red wine. Rich, powerful flavors. My favorite. And he turned on the fireplace in his dining room, which is adjacent to the garden, and we sat together in a trance. Our eyes connect from across the room, my foot tapping, and he smiles, a little smirk on his face, and I just feel the senses leave my body. Already teetering on the 3 glasses of wine I've consumed that night, my body floats in the air. Now that the weight of my inhibitions have left it, I am lost in a space between our 2 bodies. The sense of my own, it becomes obscured. I feel as if everything in this room is an extension of my soul, that I fit into this picture perfectly. I'm malleable. I fall right into his hands. He has complete control over me. I should be scared, but I'm not. I feel drawn to him as I sit in the chair across from him.
I like you in that armchair.
Just in this chair.
And everywhere else, I like you near me.
I like this room. It's so cozy. I feel like I'm flying.
Flying?
Yeah. Like, I know that I'm here in this chair, but I feel like I'm in the air. I feel like I'm everywhere.
A little too much wine.
I think so. You should take me to the garden. I want to see all the pretty trees.
The garden?
You know, the garden. The apples and the leaves.
I know the one. I suppose we can. Just remember, don't eat the fruit.
Promise.
I feel at home in the garden. When you enter a world of your own creation, you feel at ease, surrounded by the bark of those you crafted yourself. You can see the moon through the space between the branches above us. The leaves glint and reflect the light around them. The grass is wet with small droplets of dew. All outside light disappears. The garden is a sanctuary from the city around us. The apples serve as a beacon of color in the darkness. The air is chilled, filled with moisture. All of the apple trees grow ambrosia. Their fruit reveals the secret of their creation. I labored to create this garden, and I'd like to show it off to those I care about. Something about all of my creations together. It makes my heart beat faster. I like the thrill of it, the risk.
Did you really do all this yourself?
All of it. I've been working on it from the moment I moved in. Trees block out the world. Trees are the world.
I mean, yeah, they're definitely beautiful, but there's quite a bit of them for such a small space.
You don't like it.
No, I like them, and they're pretty and everything.
I want you to like them. What is wrong with them?
I don't know. It's a cool idea. It's an orchard downtown.
But you feel about coming. What?
Doesn't it feel a bit unnerving? Or closed in? Like a prison?
Not to me. The world out there is scary. But here, trees can't hurt me. They won't hurt you.
Now, I don't know about that one. I've seen The Wizard of Oz. Trees can hurt.
The trees
Yeah,
that...
if they turn the apples into weapons, they throw them.
Do you think trees have spirits?
I don't know. I mean, I guess so. They are living. But they don't have much agency, do they? They have no control over their lives. It just happens.
I think they do. If you were a tree in this garden, where would you grow?
In this garden? I would grow there. On the edge of the shade by that apple tree. The one furthest to the left. Depending on the time of day, the sun would hit me at different times, not constant. At noon, I would feel the sun on the top of my foliage growing, but by the afternoon, the tree would hide me from the sun, allowing me to cool down and hide from the light. I could soak up the rain through my roots and have room to grow and expand while remaining part of the other trees, the community. I would release sweet air to grace the lungs of the beings who breathe me in, the kind of air that makes you breathe deep down into the depths of your chest as your lungs allow the outdoors to inhabit the space within them. I would be grounded in the soil. Unlike my current self, I would make choices with wisdom and knowledge. I would be aware of myself. I would reach high up into the sky to feel the wind on my branches. And in the fall, I'd make apples, like these ones. But my apples would tell a story. They would give knowledge of my life, as I could not tell it. Sorry, I have to go.
Stay a while. Stay the night.
No,
Don't go.
no, I have to go.
Text me when you get back.
I will. His kiss tasted like apples. The flavor was just lingering on his lips. He meant something by it. He wasn't just going through the motions, there was meaning. Something deep within him kissed me. I don't know what, I'm not used to that. But I want more. I want to taste more apples. I want that apple. That apple there on that tree. He told me not to eat them, but I want to. I want to taste the apple that he described that first day, whether they be the sour vessels he proclaimed them to be or the sweet nectar that they should be. This apple, it's a part of him. It's his own creation, his art. If I eat this, I could understand him deeper than I do now. It doesn't appear to be bitter. It's sweet. It's incredibly sweet, with only an edge of sour. My body does not want to consume it. My tongue tingles with the taste of the fruit, as if I'm allergic. My eyes begin to water, and my body revolts against the apple. This apple is poisoned. My vision falters for just a moment, and it goes black with a hint of color. And then I'm back. But my blood is circulating faster. There's a fire within me now. An image. A bloody image. My brain is like a computer going into overdrive. And another with a pair of eyes that I know. One that have investigated my soul. I know this man. I've seen his face. Where have I seen his face? These hands. These hands are not my hands. This is not my body. I'm in pain. A garden tool. My head, it hurts. A sensation on my throat. My airways blocked. And then there's a blinding flash from a camera with a deep feeling of betrayal. Who is that person behind the camera? Flash, 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 flash. Their vision is burned white from the continuous flashes of the camera. The heat of a fur coat. My eyelids flutter. The space is familiar to me. The bathtub is full of ice. My lifeless body slaps against the floor of the tub. I lie in the ice, freezing. A knife. They carve. They slap. They dig into my limbs, into my body. My body is no longer whole. It is in small parts. A wheelbarrow. I'm taken into the garden, placed into a hole in the soil. I can't see the sun. I can't see the light. I'm trapped inside his garden, Heath's garden, the one I stood in moments ago. I grow into a tree. I grow into an apple tree. The garden is full of bodies. Does Heath even know?
Sky? Sky, are you right? Can I come in?
My mind is alive with images from apples. Each neuron firing forward glimpses of gardens past. Are these images truth or are they simply fiction? Can apples carry stories to those who eat them?
I'm headed to work soon. I just wanted to check up on you.
I'm fine, Raven.
I don't believe you.
Why not?
It's eating you alive.
Maybe it is. I mean, isn't that expected? It all felt so real. And maybe I should wonder. And maybe I should be concerned.
I'm not saying you shouldn't be. Just talk to me.
I don't want to talk.
Well, isn't that fucking clear?
Raven.
If you won't talk, I will. I don't want you seeing that orchard is.
It was just a dream, Raven. Or some hallucination.
Sky, you come home from a night out with Heath and suddenly you're collapsed on the ground claiming you had some sort of epiphany. Images of murder and apples and gardens.
And I'm fine now. I'm sure it was
He
just...
could have drugged you, Sky. Did you mean to stay longer than you did, leave unexpectedly?
I guess I did. He kissed me. But he really kissed me, Raven, and I melted into him. Into his hands. And then I had to leave. I didn't know what to do.
And he prepared you food and drinks?
Yes, he did, but I don't think... he didn't...
You've known this man a week. How can you know his intentions?
I don't want to talk about this right
It's
now.
the truth, Sky.
How do you know what the truth is? From the very first moment that I said I was seeing him, you've been questioning him and me and our relationship. It's been a week! If he really wanted to drug me, don't you think he would have done that by now? I just want to leave this behind. Come up with some crazy excuse as to why I collapsed.
But you know that's not true.
I haven't been sleeping very well, so there, overexhaustion. Look, he's not a monster, Raven. He's caring and gentle with me. He isn't out to get me. He doesn't want to kill me.
Sky,
I mean, how could he even do something like that? He was at least starting to love me, so how did he pick poison out of his pocket and place it in my drink?
Maybe that was his plan all along. To use
He wasn't trying to use me!
Fine. You can get mad at me now. But I'll be here when you're ready to face reality, and then we'll talk.
You have to go to work.
I do. I'll see you later tonight.
Okay.
Don't go see him. I know you, Sky. You need to leave it be for a bit, at least for tonight.
Okay.
Promise?
Promise. I didn't keep my promise, Raven. I broke my promise.
Come over tonight.
What time?
9.
I'll be there.
Bring poppers.
There are two voices in my head right now. What if this man in the vision was Heath? Does he want to dispose of me in his garden as well? Fuck me and shred my body into pieces so that I can grow into an apple tree? And I can't stay contained in this apartment, not tonight. I have to see Heath. There's no way he would harm me. He loves me. I tear a piece of paper out of the notebook on the table, and I write a message to Raven. Raven, I must see to something. I'll be back in the morning. I finish by drawing a heart. I grab my coat and close the door behind me. What if those apples show the truth of the world? No. Nope. I push those thoughts deep down within me. The bus pulls up to the curb before me and my phone buzzes. I have a text from Raven.
I keep thinking about our fight. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too.
I need to learn how to bite my tongue sometimes.
I understand. You were worried about me. I would do the same for you.
I mean it though. I'm here if you want to talk. Ever.
I know. Same to you.
I send a single heart.
Love you, Raven.
Love you too.
My hand raises and I pull the cord on the bus. It slowly comes to a stop. And I step off the bus, simply breathing in the cold night's air, until I can feel the ethereal air of the garden enter my lungs.
It's warm in here.
Yeah, it's hot even.
Maybe I should turn down the heat.
No, don't. I like it. And I like you. A lot.
I like you too.
Is there any chance that we could have some of that wine from last night?
I suppose we could.
Thanks. I couldn't get enough of it.
I could tell.
And then I was thinking, let's just sit down for a bit. And you should grab the bottle and bring it right back in here. I hope this is like a plan for tonight.
I work weird hours. My mind doesn't work at the usual 9 to 5. It works at night, in the evening. The world seems much darker now. My stomach churns. I worry for Sky, but I have to push those fears down to focus on the space. I sit at my favorite cafe, staring into space in thought. For what seems like hours, my mind is racing, and then it becomes still. In the depth of my mind, I pull at something I can feel there like a tooth. And it comes with blood and with pain. A while ago, maybe 1 or 2 years now, I went to this bar downtown. And when I walked in, there was this wall of faces before me. Missing men. Their eyes staring into mine. There was no dancing that night, not really. Everyone had their minds on those posters, on those faces. It could have been anyone. Someone in the bar, or someone we knew, or some blank face on a dating profile. We all knew that those men were dead, and that the police didn't really care. They never did. Not really. Gay people got murdered, and the police don't look into it, or they don't believe us, or they raid our sanctuaries, and that's the history of being LGBTQ in this country. So they didn't look into it. Not really. any claims he might have made. So what could we do? He had no voice. The problem is more singular, it's everywhere, and someone walks into the coffee shop, breaking my concentration. I order another latte. I need to focus.
You know, I used to be a mall Santa. Hey, Sky, are you okay?
I'm fine. I just don't think the wine's hitting me right today.
Can I get you anything?
No, I should be fine. Actually, no. Yeah, I think I should probably go lay down for a bit.
Ibuprofen? Water?
No, I just need to lie down. Sometimes this happens.
Okay.
Is there anywhere that I could go lay down, quiet? Maybe a room?
Sure. Just go lie down for a bit.
Thank you. I won't be too long, probably just like half an hour.
I'll be here.
I slowly head up the stairs, my head in pain. And I slowly open his bedroom door, and I close it with the same energy. And then a debilitating wave of those images take over me. I'm in that hallway. I am in that bedroom. And the bathroom is just right down the hallway. A man was killed here. His death hidden from the light. My mind races to life. I tear through his room as quietly as possible. And I pray that he keeps something in here as a sign of the murder he's committed. I mean, there must be some sign, some symbol of a life that once was. Some possession, a memento of the time he killed a man. And then I find photos. Photos of men. Naked men. Some of them unconscious. Some of them dressed up in a fur coat. I recognize a face. I mean, how could I forget it? He was the first of those men. The first poster of those missing men. Unconscious, in a fur coat. Probably dead. But there are more. More of other men. I count their bodies as I flip past the pictures. 3, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12. 12 men unconscious in that fur coat. Fur coat. I take a picture. And then from the corner of the closet, the flash catches something and it gleams back at me. I reach my hand towards it. It's cold. It's metal. It's the coldest surface I've ever touched. It's a shovel. The shovel from those visions. The one used to kill that man and the others. It was his frame in those visions. Heath is the killer. My visions were true. The apples, they speak true. There are dead men in the backyard. I have to get out of here. I need to leave.
What the fuck are you doing?
What is this?
Some fucking headache you have, going through my fucking shit. I came up here to fucking check on you. Meanwhile, you're searching my fucking room like some fucking vault.
I know what you did. I saw the photos of those men under your bed. I recognize the faces. They're missing men.
I thought I could fucking trust you.
There were others. Before me. People buried in your garden.
In my garden?
Yes, in your garden! You think I don't know?
What the fuck are you on?
I ate one of your apples, Heath. I stole one after you went inside, and suddenly I started having visions of blood, and sex, and murder, and your eyes are in all of them! You're afraid? You killed those men, I know you did.
So the trees have spirits. They live. Sky, are you really going to trust some vision you had over what I am telling you? You can trust me, Sky.
No, don't turn this around on me, Heath. How could I see all of those things? Find all of these objects here if it wasn't true? If you hadn't killed at least 12 men.
You had too much to drink last night, I think. And then you had some lucid dreams. You passed out. That's what it sounds like.
No, don't turn this around.
Come, sit with me. We can talk through this. I love you.
You love me?
I do. I love you a lot.
No one's ever said that to me before. Not like that. Not with meaning behind it.
I mean it. I love you, Sky. I'm concerned for you.
Still, I don't.
Shh. Don't think about it for a bit. Now, did you bring those poppers? You're not an idiot, Sky. Truth does fall from apple trees.
Pathetic piece of. No! Please. Please, no, I won't say anything. I won't tell anyone. I won't even speak your name. Just please let me go.
I almost believe you. I don't. You're all the same. Say you won't say anything, let me go. You'll rat me out as soon as you leave.
I won't. I promise I won't. Don't kill me. Keep me here, alive with you.
So you can escape? And tell everyone about this, about me, about the bodies in the garden, my beautiful garden.
Please. Please just let me win. Please.
You don't get it.
Go!
You want to win, Sky? I feel like I'm winning. Every man, although they die, I win. It's the only way I know how. A sprout grows in me, and each man I fuck, and then kill, and then fuck. I grow alive with their deaths. It's like growing real trees, except these trees are alive in every sense of the word. They live in an altered state and grow apples that don't just taste good. They show something to me when I eat them, to all who eat them. And I eat them and reflect on my time with each man. The taste lingers on my tongue and with each bite. I finish the apple. Core and all, I don't need anything else. Except these apples. And the men give me them. I want to taste their apples, their forbidden fruit, because they won't let me in life while they live. But they have no choice in death. And in their tree form, they give apples in the hopes that someone will eat them. I can taste their helplessness. I will taste your helplessness too. I can taste it now. And I will taste it until the end of time.
I walked past his house every evening for the past week, but his truck's always in the driveway and the sun is always shining. But one day is different. I catch the bus and it starts to pour. It starts to thunder. After stepping off the bus, I open my umbrella and walk towards his house. Somebody's in the driveway. I assume it's him. He's packing up his truck with dirt. I pause at the end of the driveway and stare at him. He looks back at me and our eyes meet. He has no idea.
What the fuck are you looking at?
Nothing. After everything I have felt over the last week, all the things I planned on saying to him, all I can muster up is one word. Nothing. He gives me a strange look and returns to his work. I start to walk down the street, slowly. Soon after his truck drives past me, I wait until he's far enough down the road, and then I turn back. I walk back to his house, open his back gate, and close it carefully behind me. 13 apple trees grow in the orchard. But one attracts me to it. Its fruit bright yellow and red, its branch extended towards me. I pick its apple, hold it in front of my mouth for a few moments, take a deep breath, and then take a bite.
The sound of air releasing, as the air trapped within the lungs of a person leaves it for the last time. I am violated. The unmentionable things he did to my body before I died. And after. The bathtub's being filled. Then he comes back, places me on the bed, dresses up my naked body in that fur coat, puts a cigar in my mouth, and...
Pose for the picture, Sky. You're beautiful. Can't believe no one has told you that. You could be capable of love, image of beauty. And you will still be beautiful, preserved. One more photo, Sky.
A wave of cold rushing surrounds me. Ice water. I rest at the bottom, my head above the water as if I were taking a bath. As if I were living. An eternity passes. He returns with a knife in his hands and the water drains from the bathtub. And he begins cutting. And cutting. And cutting. And cutting. And cutting. And cutting. And cutting. My body is unrecognizable from before. Shredded on the white surface of the tub, tiny bits remain intact. My eyes, my fingers, and my heart.
Look at the mess you left me, Sky. Look at this mess and this stench. No amount of air freshener could get rid of this.
I'm in the garage with Heath. He grabs a sack of manure and he cuts it open with a knife, spilling the contents onto the shreds of what wasn't once my body. I am hugged by the sickly smell and touch of cow shit. My body's made profitable. The mixture is placed in a wheelbarrow, my heart, eyes, and fingers placed on top of it all. All valued, holy items. In the garden, he begins to dig a hole.
In the spot you said you would grow if you were a tree. The edge of the shade, the leftmost apple tree. I'm looking out for you, Sky. You can grow here. You wanted to. You want to.
My heart, my eyes, my fingers, they're all placed into the hole. He places a small layer of soil on them. He places fertilizer on top. My body is reduced to the darkness that I started life in. A metamorphosis. Waiting to explode, I feel disconnected from the air that I've grown used to. Connected. It must be daylight by now. I begin to stretch towards the direction which I think is up. I can feel the warmth on the tips of what were my fingers, starting towards the sun.
A sapling sprouted the very next day, reaching towards the clouds where you belong. You travel with the wind. You cannot be grounded, but you need to be. Someone needs to ground the sky. And I did. But hey, at least you've left something behind on this planet. Isn't that what you wanted, Sky?
That day I grew about 2 meters. 4 the next. All I can feel is the sunlight on my bark, and the cold of the night as it surrounds me, as the sunlight slowly leaves my newly hardened flesh. My arms, they grow heavy from the weight of my foliage, my apples. They ache at my shoulders, or rather what were my shoulders. The blood leaves them, and they tingle, fall asleep. But I don't have any blood, not anymore. What my body was no longer is. How long will I grow in this yard, in this garden, before anyone realizes who I am beneath this bark? If I could only manifest my pain into a sign of what I've gone through for someone, for Raven to find. I reach above me, move my thoughts upward. I can manifest them into something physical, a fruit, an apple for her to find. An apple to bring images to her mind so that she can find me and the others. And I do. My branch grows slightly heavier. Come and take my fruit, Raven. Discover the knowledge of fruit, of truth and evil.
I could tell your story again. How would I tell it? What would be a more powerful vessel? An article in a magazine that tells the accounts of their lives and deaths, and the murderer who caused them, written by me? Or an apple tree, which brings visions to the minds of those who eat it, sharing the victims' experiences and death, allowing them to tell their stories themselves. An apple pie. An apple pie all the way. An apple pie is layered. You can tell of many different things. Apples. To bring the stories of your deaths to the minds at the hands of heat. A hint of lemon juice. The ignorance of the police to the disappearances of 13 gay men. Sugar. The fetishization of his victims, killing them to fulfill the lust in his heart. Butter. The implicit biases of the police, discrimination institutionalized in their structure. An egg. The orchardist being aware of these biases and using it to his advantages to continue his crimes. Nutmeg. The police don't account for those who may be in the closet, living a double life to protect themselves. A hint of vanilla. The police don't account for those who do not hold economic and social capital, especially in cases of disappearance and murder. Cinnamon. How the police would rather ignore people of similar racial and sexual demographics going missing and dying than completing a full investigation of their shared contacts and location. And finally, the crust. How the very system of the police and their investigations do not work with matters concerning LGBTQ people. Their systems are not built to accommodate us. I've eaten an apple from every tree in the orchard, and I've baked this pie to perfection. To provide the perfect vessel for you to tell your stories yourselves. So my apple pie will reveal your truth. Your apples will reveal your truth. All of you. An apple from each of your trees. You can tell your stories yourselves, and they will have no choice but to listen. Your apples, your truth, will haunt them. You will haunt them until not a single soul can ignore your existence in the garden. The world deserves to know each of your names and your stories. The world needs to know your truth. And Sky, you have always been loved. I've always loved you.
Thank you, folks. We will just take a moment to get reset for the talk back with Vern. Stay tuned right here, please. And we are live.
Are we good to go?
We're good to go, Vern.
Great, excellent. Wow, thank you, and thanks to the cast for that amazing reading and the beautiful direction and the incredible writing. So congratulations, Noah. So how does that feel hearing your play like that in front of a live audience?
It felt good. A little bit scary, especially because you can feel like the energies in like a live audience. And for a play like this where it's a bit more tense, you know what I mean? You feel like you can like cut the tension with like a butter knife. And I definitely felt that, but it's done now. So.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I know that you went through a lot of different drafts of this play, even over the course of the last month that you and I have been discussing it.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, like, through it all, like, is there something in particular that you discovered about your own process of writing or about the play itself through this workshop process that we've been working on in terms of your play in the last month?
Yeah.
What did you discover?
With all the different drafts, especially over the last month, I had about 5 different drafts that happened since the start of July. And just like various little changes along the way. What I discovered is that the big draft that I'd done in June, I actually got rid of most of the changes that I made. And so I really kind of discovered that really to stick true to like the story and to the heart and to like know where I need to go with this story, I needed to go back to an earlier draft. I needed to go back to really learn where did this come from so that I can then learn how to go forward with it.
Wow, that's a big thing to learn.
Yeah.
I certainly didn't learn that until well into my career, so that's amazing. For you, like on its base level, at the heart level for you, what is this play about? I mean, it's about a lot of things. We're going to talk to the audience in a moment about what they feel it's about. But like, for you, what's the key thing for you in your heart that made you write this play?
I think that like really trying to focus on like, I guess, whose story are you telling? Because this isn't my story. And so how do you tell a story that isn't something from you, if that makes any sense? And so I think at the very core, the foundation of this play, I think, is really kind of listening to the different things that are happening around you and looking for what you might not be able to see at surface level.
Wow, that's great. That's cool. I'm going to go to the audience. Thanks for that. I'm going to ask a question that some audience members asked last time, and that is, do you have something new that you're working on?
Not right now. It's been quite a few months on this, so I'm going to take, the next few weeks off from writing, and then really kind of maybe return to this, or maybe go somewhere completely different. I always have this one idea on like the back burner of my mind that has to do with someone who's really into astronauts. So maybe that, I don't know.
Right. Thank you. So audience, and
Oop. Vern, we've lost you for a moment.
great. There's a lot of. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yep, you're back now.
Okay, thank you. So turning to the audience, I'd love for you to think about this. You wake up 3 weeks from now, and there is a moment from this play, or a line, or a particular image that sticks with you. A moment, a line, or a particular image that sticks with you. What is it? That's my first question. And then my second question is, if you have to use a word to describe this play, as I was doing with the earlier, you would use to describe this play. So what is the image, line, moment that sticks with you from this play? And also, for you, how would you were walking?
Oh. It's rough in here right now. You're gone again, Vern.
Oh.
We are having some technical issues. You're back again, yep.
Okay. Did you hear what I just said or no?
I believe we got the first part. If you'd like to start with the first part, we can get that rolling.
Okay. So again, I'll repeat it. The first question is, what is the moment or line or image from the play that will stick with you? And the second question is, if you have to describe this play in a word walking away, what would it be?
I've read the script, right, initially for a while ago, so I saw the very first draft of the script, so I do have a moment that is stuck in my head for a long time from that draft that I believe has continued, if indirectly, to this draft, and it's the idea of being broken apart and then growing from the soil. That's just something that's been in the back burner of my head
I can't hear the answers from the house, so can somebody either replay them for me, or as long as Noah can hear them, then I'm okay with it.
Yes.
Did you hear there, Noah?
Yes. Thank you, Devin.
I'll turn the mic up there. Sophia?
Yeah, for a moment that kind of stuck with me. I'd say it's both times where Raven was listing the ingredients of the apple pie. In the beginning, just kind of not knowing what to do with the recipe, and then at the end, each ingredient meant something. And that just I really like that moment. Like, I like the replay of it at the end. That really stuck with me.
Great. I did hear that.
Okay.
For me, it was the apple imagery. I think the way that character was written was just very sinister, and the ownership of having the apple and seeing Nolan actually eat the apple at the end of the play, the way it was performed, the way it was written was very striking and unsettling. So that really hit me.
I love that word sinister, and certainly that is one of the words that I would use to describe this play in a very good way. I like sinister plays, so I'm curious, do you have is there other descriptions that you would use for this play that would entice somebody to come and see it?
Was that directed to Noah?
No, that's directed to the audience.
Okay.
I know what Noah thinks of this play.
Towards the apple, because on the one hand that's when everything starts to go to hell, but on the other hand it's a really interesting, the apple is a really interesting vessel for such a revelation, and it's a very striking shift because it builds, but that's when it's a weird and interesting vessel for that certainty that maybe we would have had suspicions about before.
I heard the word striking in there, which is another word that I like. So we've only got a couple minutes left. I think I'd like to turn it over to any questions, either on the live feed or in the house in New Brunswick. If you have a question for Noah, and again, please keep it positive.
Yeah, I absolutely have a question. So something that I'm always very curious about with plays that deal with such dark subject matter is there's such a fine line between not being explicit enough to honor the severity of the crimes or horrific acts that are taking place, to kind of crossing over to the point where you're almost reveling in it. And I don't think that you ever crossed that line. I thought you walked it quite finely, and I was just wondering if there was any kind of method to kind of picking out what you made allusion to or what you stated explicitly.
Yeah. So in the process of writing this play, I kind of really had to, I did a lot of research at a bunch of different pieces, and then I didn't want to make it too specific to anything, because I didn't want to use anyone's names. I didn't want to use anyone's experiences, deaths, all that. I didn't want to use that for my own play. And so really trying to find, a way to take all of this information and shift it into its own world a little bit. So this could be something that could happen without being this is this one case or this is this other case over there. And so finding that line, it was a process. And I don't think I really found it exactly until that last draft, until I really took a step back and looked at what I was doing really fully. And after that, I was able to really kind of add in like little tiny details, but also things in the plot that really just made this kind of into its own world.
Thank you.
Thank you, Noah. Is there anything on the feed, Trent?
No questions on the feed at the moment. No.
Okay. Another question in the house. No questions?
Doesn't seem like it.
Was that?
Doesn't seem like it. No.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody for coming. I want to give another round of applause to Noah for writing such a stimulating and thought-provoking piece. And of course, I encourage you all to come back and see the other stuff that's happening in Little Blacks, either live in the theater or online. So